Welcome to the award-winning Real Estate Mortgage Shop, where home buyers, homeowners, and investors get practical mortgage and real estate insight straight from the pros with your host, Joe Garner.
Welcome to our internet listeners and our podcast listeners across the 50 states. Today is June 13th, 2026. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage loan officer. Connect with me today at jogarner.com. Our general topic is right roads to take in today's real estate market 2026. Thank you to attorneys Shelley Rothman and Rob Drawn of Griffin Clift, Everton, and Mashmeyer Law Firm for sponsoring this episode of Real Estate Mortgage Shop. When you're ready to buy a home or refinance one, Shelley Rothman and Rob Drawn can help you with the title work and the closing. 901-752-1133. Well, in the studio, I'm so happy to have our expert, a real estate appraiser, Alan McCool of Stephenson Associates, back in the house. And you know, Alan, we were talking. I'm so glad you're here because you have decades of experience in the Mid-South market with residential real estate. And I just want our listeners to know, not only is he a very talented appraiser, but he brings that talent over to his music acumen. He composes wonderful music. We're playing one of his songs during the Did You Know segment, Small Victories. And if you want to check out Alan McCool's music, I'm sure you'll like it. And where do they go to check out your music?
That can be found at alanmccool.com. That's ALLENMCCOOL.com.
All right. Well, we love playing your music, Alan. But take a moment and tell us a little bit about yourself and what type of appraisal services you offer your clients.
Well, Joe, thanks so much for having me back. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. We do appraisals in the residential realm, Shelby, Fayette, and Tipton counties, also Marshall County in Mississippi. And we like to take care of solving real estate problems. Lenders are our main client, but we have individuals who have to sort out what the value is worth for family reasons, for estate planning, estate settling, even divorce and other types of litigation. So think of us, Stephenson Associates, to take care of that.
And you do some work for cash buyers too, I believe.
Cash buyers sometimes want an independent view of the value. Since there's not a lender in that case, they want just independent eyes looking at the transaction. How
do we contact you, Alan?
We are at Stephenson Associates, 901-763-2100.
Well, you know, in the 1976 comedy movie Gumball Rally, reckless Grand Prix champion Franco Bertinelli, he reaches up and plucks the rearview mirror from the windshield of his Ferrari and tells his passenger, "What's behind me is not important." Well, maybe looking in the rearview mirror occasionally is helpful. Just be aware of the traffic around you and what you see ahead through the windshield. The same wisdom applies to you when you're on the road to buying your first home, maybe your second, maybe third home, or maybe you're just refinancing a home that you already own. So let's take a moment. Let's take a peek in the rearview mirror. Based on historical data over the last 50 years, the average 30-year mortgage rate is 7.7%. Today, you can get a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage in the low to mid-sixes, which is actually a pretty great deal.
When you take the long view, that's really important to do because it is.
It's a good rate overall. Well, 50 years ago, the average price on homes in the United States was $48,000.
My goodness.
Can you believe that? Today, the average price of a home nationally is around $514,000. I did the math, 972% increase, which outpaces consumer inflation.
Right.
So the numbers don't lie. Real estate is a protective hedge against inflation and an awesome wealth builder. But Alan, you've got some observations from the appraisal desk for the Mid-South market.
That's right. And so interesting what you said about looking in the rearview mirror, because part of what I wanted to talk about today is if you're jumping into the market, you can't really predict the future, but you can look and see what trends have been in the sub-markets that you are considering getting into. And appraisers, that's what we do all day. It's more of a research, data-driven report writing exercise that we do. But you as a buyer are on the front line, and if you're working with a good realtor, like I think we have a
Pat Goldstein's coming in a little
That's
later.
what I heard. I can't wait to see her. So I like to talk with people like Pat because they have the conversations and they know what's driving the market. But looking in the rearview mirror, figuring out what is trending, what's causing values to go up, what of those things pertain particularly to you? What do you want to pay for and not want to pay for?
Right. So what do you see happening in our market? Just give us a snapshot of just looking around.
It does vary by neighborhood, but there is inventory, but prices are still up. It's kind of a conflicting thing there. Some people are not really happy with what they're finding in the inventory. So,
when we say inventory, we mean homes for sale.
Homes for sale, yeah. So, timing is important, but sometimes your timing is more important than the timing of the market.
Right. So it has to do with timing. It has to do with what's available out there and what somebody is willing to pay today. That's basically what sets the price or the value.
True, yeah. And then closed sales are an indication of what has already happened up to this point. And you're looking at the ones that are the most recent ones that you can find. Current supply and demand, what's available, how many people are competing with you for the same property. That's what's going to cause that price or that negotiation to occur at your exact point.
Very good, Alan. Well, look around today. After spiking to the low 8% range for rates in 2023, mortgage rates are back down around the low to mid sixes. Home prices are still gradually moving up, a little less than 2% nationwide, with cities in the Sunbelt and Mountain West have not done so well. In the Mid-South, though, we're seeing increasing home values up like 6.6% in May 2026 and about 3% year over year. Buyers have a better choice of homes for sale and more success negotiating with sellers to pay closing costs and mortgage rate buy-downs, depending on the neighborhood. The motto for this current market is marry the house, date the interest rate. And if and when mortgage rates go down again, you can always refinance to a lower rate. At least when you buy a home, you've secured your home in your name before these prices go up yet again. But that was the rear view mirror. Let's look and looking around. So we've covered rear view mirror. We've covered looking around at what's going on now. What's the windshield view? Fannie Mae shared their housing expectations survey last week and reported that 150 of the top real estate economists are forecasting home prices to continue to go up about 14% over the next 60 months. That's the windshield view. Fannie Mae and others predict mortgage rates are going to stay in the sixes for the next 12 months or so. So there's your windshield view. And if you're a buyer, you know your own comfort level of what you can comfortably pay on a house note, going back to what you said, Alan.
Right, exactly.
Know your limits. Yeah, know your limits on what you can pay down, always keeping your emergency funds in place. You don't want to spend all your emergency funds.
Right.
There's lots of great down payment assistance programs that can help you with that. There's even some special programs out there with below market interest rates to make the note more affordable. And I want to just tell you a quick example of this. First-time home buyer Jay Ray, not his real name, but pretty close, he had a dream. He was tired of wasting money on rent, and he wanted to buy his first home. What was his challenge? Well, he said, I can't do it, Joe. Mortgage rates are making the payment too high to afford the house I want. He said, I don't want to buy a house that I'm not going to enjoy living in. Good point, Jay Ray. What was the solution? Well, special mortgage programs for veterans and first-time homebuyers like Jay Ray with ultra-low interest rates. That was his key. And when regular 30-year mortgage rates were in the low 6s, J-Ray got a rate in the mid to high 5s, making the house he wanted affordable. So, there's a lot of different strategies that these buyers can take in this market. For buyers, target motivated sellers, long-standing listings. They've been on the market for a while. Identify your aged listings to get maybe some more negotiating power that have been on the market for 45 days or more. Negotiate price adjustments, but I would say more importantly, negotiate to try, if you can, to get the sellers to pay closing cost instead of lowering the price, because you will make your money back immediately doing that, where if you lower the price, it may take you several years to recapture the savings. If you can, ask for contingencies, like you need to get an inspection and, make it contingent on the appraisal, maybe some seller-funded interest rate buy-downs, things like that. But you're on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. I'm Joe Garner, your host. I'm a mortgage loan officer. I can help you get the right mortgage and make the process easy, jogarner.com. We have Alan McCool here in the studio. He's an appraiser with Stephenson Associates. Alan, how do we contact you?
Our office is 901-763-2100.
And we have Pat Goldstein. She's a realtor with Crye-Leike coming in with our next segment, so stay tuned. We've got some more good tips and information on how to make the right turn in real estate in 2026. We'll see you guys back in just a moment.
Real Estate Mortgage Shop provides general information, not an offer to lend. Joe Garner, Talk Shop Real Estate Mortgage Shop, does not endorse 100% of the information covered on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Consult with your certified advisors before acting on any information given on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Joe Garner is a licensed mortgage loan officer, NMLS 757308, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Jones-Borland with Evernest Property Management in Memphis, Tennessee, and you're listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Now back to your host, Joe Garner.
Okay, are you guys ready out there for comic queries? You probably already know the answer, but hey, we're going to ask anyway. Alan?
I have a riddle for you. I am a sentence spoken by a driver that instantly causes a passenger to drop their map, grab the door handle, and pray to the heavens, even though it sounds completely reassuring. What sentence am I?
I can tell you right now what it is.
You can?
Yeah, when the driver turns and says, "Don't worry, I know a shortcut."
Oh. I say that all the time.
I know we got listeners out there that go, "I have a story for that." Well, I got a riddle for you. I am a digital voice that claims to be a master of geography, yet on a simple trip, I will confidently tell you to make a sharp left turn directly into a brick wall because a developer built a subdivision there in 2024. What am I?
I hate when that happens. I think that's a GPS navigation app.
Yes. Think twice. Okay. Well, today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, we're talking about the real estate market 2026. Make the right turns on your road with Homeownership. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer for your home purchase or your mortgage refinance that you can brag about. We can find the right mortgage product and make the process easy on a traditional mortgage, special program, or an outside-of-the-box mortgage program, too. Connect with me. You can call or text 901-482-0354, 901-482-0354. We've got Alan McCool. He's an appraiser with Stephenson Associates in the house. How do we contact you, Alan?
That's 901-763-2100.
Okay, we're going to do something we like to do almost every week. It's the Talk Shop tip, and we have Pat Goldstein. She's a realtor with Crye-Leike in Tennessee and North Mississippi, and Pat is a generous sponsor of Talk Shop, supporting our real estate and business community. And if you join the Talk Shop sponsor team, you can get a wide variety of marketing venues at below market price. Connect with us at talkshops.com. SHOPPE.com. But Pat Goldstein, you're a realtor with Crye-Leike Realtors. You're in Tennessee, North Mississippi, and you contribute a lot. Pat, you're known by your buyers and home sellers as the gold standard in real estate, and you have several decades, I won't see how many, several decades experience, and you know the market and you know how to negotiate for your clients. What's our real estate tip today, Pat?
Okay, thank you, Joe, and hello, Alan. Actually, that's 40 years of experience. I'll be up front with it.
It's a long
This
time.
white hair didn't come out of the blue. The tip of the week is you were talking about making right turns.
Uh-huh.
And one of the right turns that you can make is to listen to the professionals that you're working with, your realtor, your lender, the appraiser who will give you an appraisal telling you what the value of that property should be. And you've got all of this good information at your fingertips, and yet some people want to take off in a different direction because their neighbor, their
Right.
friend, somebody said, oh, I did it this way, and
Right.
I got this kind of a deal. Well, sometimes they exaggerate. Sometimes they're right on target, but they had a special circumstance that got them that deal.
Right. I've
Your-
seen that happen.
Your professionals know what the market is, or they should. They know how to negotiate. They know how to navigate that market. And if you will at least take the time to listen to what they have to say and to pay attention to the tips that they're giving you, you may end up in a much better position than you
Right.
would trying to wing it.
Right. Absolutely. And you can share what your friends have advised you, but go back to what the professionals are telling you to do. We've been there and done that many times.
Many. And sometimes they have some great ideas that your professionals will embrace. But a lot of times it doesn't fit your situation.
You are so right, Pat. How
great
do we
tip.
how do we contact you?
You can reach me at 901-606-2000.
But Alan, when we left off, you were talking about some good tips in this market for people buying homes or maybe getting a mortgage for refinance.
Right. Pat, that's such a great tip. I'm always encouraging people to really do their homework, and that means consult the professionals that are on the front line and know how to navigate the waters you're about to step in. You may have friends that think they know something, and you may luck out in that area, but don't take chances. I wanted to get into when you're jumping into your market, figure out first of all yourself. Know yourself. Know what you need. Know what you want. Know what you're willing to pay extra for or not.
Right.
And that a lot of that comes down to, real estate is not something that you can pick and choose the components so much because they're already put together in packages of houses.
Right.
A house that you might buy,
Mm-hmm.
or a neighborhood where the value is driven by yards. People want yards. Some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other
They want a
people-
place to have their dogs run.
Not all people.
Not all people. Absolutely.
That's true.
Because they picture their dogs running, they picture their children running and having a wonderful life. And that's driving the real estate up in that neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
In fact, that's historically one of the most important drivers of accelerating, because you got so many people, that's the middle of the market, these families that are growing. So
Right.
maybe you don't need that. Maybe you don't care what school district you're in. Maybe you want to be close to your work. You want to be close to a certain amenity or a certain activity that you're constantly involved with, or family members that live in a
Close
certain
by.
area.
Yeah.
Consider what you need and don't need. Now, on the other hand, you may still want to buy in one of these rapidly accelerating areas because you're more in tune to your investment and you want to build your wealth. You see that as your long-term, one of you
Wealth builders.
yeah, one of your long-term goals is to own some property that's really appreciating, or not. There are so many different motivators out there, and the first step is to find your own.
And you've said before that it's an emotional process. It's not all logic when you're buying a house you're going to live in.
Yes, there's so many emotions involved because once you own that home, that's where your life is. That's where you're making memories, and so you Your got emotions wrapped up, but I'm encouraging you to make a list, make your priorities, rank them so that you can help your decision making.
Alan McCool, Stephenson and Associates, an appraiser with many, many years of experience. I trust your knowledge in this field. How do we contact you?
Our office is 901-763-2100.
And you work in Tennessee and Mississippi.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. I can help you find the right mortgage and make the process easy all over the United States and in the Mid-South. We also have Pat Goldstein, a realtor with Crye-Leike. How do we contact you, Pat?
I'm at 901-606-2000.
We got more to come, so we'll see you guys back in just a moment.
You're listening to mortgage expert Joe Garner, author of Choosing the Best Mortgage, The Quickest Way to the Life You Want. And she has a golden nugget from her book. You can order Joe's book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Hey, Joe, if someone is self-employed, can you show them how to get more qualified income for their loan?
A good mortgage officer, we know how to start at the back of the tax return and move forward to the front. We know what expenses we can add back to income for qualifying purposes.
Order the book today. You'll be glad you did.
This is Tim Flessner with Mid-South Home Helpers, the premier home care of the Mid-South. You're listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Now, back to your host, Joe Garner.
Okay, we're ready for Did You Know? See if you can guess the answer before we do. Pat, I think you've got our Did You Know question.
I do, but before I go to the question, did you know that this music was written and performed by Alan McCool?
Oh, Alan McCool sitting right here. I love his music.
Right here in the studio, we're with a celebrity.
Oh,
we
my
are.
goodness.
We
Thank
are.
for
And you can
saying
buy
that.
his music on Pixabay or on your site.
AlanMcCool.com.
Okay.
What
What's
a
our
deal.
question? What's our
Okay.
question today?
Did you know today, see if you can answer this before we do, what is the name of the famous highway to nowhere located in Memphis, Tennessee?
Okay, well, here's hint number one. In the late 1950s, the federal government planned a massive transcontinental route for Interstate I-40, extending over 2,500 miles from North Carolina to California. The problem? It was going to cut through the middle of Overton Park and the Memphis Zoo.
Oh, yeah.
Hint number two, a grassroots group of local citizens, predominantly led by the neighborhood women, sued the U.S. Secretary of Transportation to protect the park. It escalated to the Supreme Court, who ruled a stop for road construction. Today, this makes Memphis one of the only cities that has a major transcontinental interstate that just dead ends. What's the name of this roadway?
I know this one. This is so interesting about Memphis. That is Sam Cooper Boulevard.
Sam Cooper Boulevard, yay! He
I
wins.
remember when that controversy was going on, and it was hot and heavy.
It was.
Oh,
well,
yes.
today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, we're talking about real estate market in 2026. Make the right turns on your road with home ownership. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. I want to be your mortgage officer, whether you're in the Mid-South or anywhere in the country, for your home purchase or your refinance that you can brag about on a traditional mortgage special program or outside of the box program. Connect with me at jogarner.com. Alan McCool, he's an appraiser with Stephenson and Associates. How do we contact you?
Our office is 901-763-2100.
Pat Goldstein, she's a realtor with Crye-Leike in Mississippi and also Tennessee. How do we contact you?
I'm at 901-606-2000.
Okay, so we've been covering some examples and strategies for making right turns in real estate in today's market. And as we check the rearview mirror at our real estate market in the first part of the show, we looked at some really big pluses for owning a home. And then we checked out where we are now, what's ahead of us through the windshield too. And we had, we now have some pretty good ideas on where to make our next turns. But in the real estate market, it's really giving buyers more choices and more opportunities to negotiate some with sellers to help pay some closing costs. But here are some success stories. Earlier in the show, I shared the story about J. Ray. He's a first responder and a first-time home buyer, and how he got some down payment assistance and a much lower than market interest rate using a special bond program. It supplied him with money he needed to close and, at the same time, a more affordable payment. The next story I want to share is about a customer who was getting started in her career in information technology. Her income was going up and was projected to continue to increase over time. The problem for this lady was that she was still at the entry level pay, and she needed a lower than market interest rate to afford to buy the house that she wanted to be her home. She said, I just want to buy a home I already want to live in and will live in. I don't want to have to keep moving. Well, the right turn for this lady, I'll call her Seema, not her real name, but was using an FHA government 5/1 adjustable rate mortgage. Now, this mortgage was a low down payment. It was government backed, and the rate was a full point or more lower than the market rate, and it was going to be fixed at that low rate for the next 5 years. That's really good. But what really sold the product for Seema was that this government adjustable rate mortgage had some very tight safety nets on it, on how much that rate could move after 5 years. She said, my income's going to be up. This is the deal for me. So if you're in that situation, you may want to consider that type of an adjustable rate.
That just turns on the light for people who just don't know what products are out there, and they don't know what may help their situation. They may look at the real estate as a big brick wall. I just can't get in there because this is what the rate is. This is what the payment's going to be. I need a leverage. I need a way. That's why talking to someone like you can just turn them on to so many different avenues that they just didn't know were there.
Yeah. And, go ahead, Pat.
In addition to that, people always listen to friends, family, etc., and they may know a specific situation, but they may not know all of the variables that are out there that you, Joe, as a professional, or I can help them look at what's actually best for them. What was best for their best friend may not be the best deal for them as far as their mortgage, their rate, etc.
I'm glad you said that, Pat, because, what was good for that friend or uncle or aunt that's giving you advice today, it may be a different market. Like, for instance, this adjustable rate, this FHA ARM adjustable rate. The rates are so much better today for that than they were just a few years ago because of the bond market, the way the bond market is. So listen to your professionals. I like that tip that you gave earlier. I want to tell another story of some home buyers. I call them the Jaspers, of course, not their real name. But like Seema, they had found the exact house where they wanted to buy and move so they could be closer to their family. Alan, you mentioned that was one of the drivers.
Exactly. Yeah.
They wanted to be close to their grandkids, their kids. Their holdback was they wanted to wait and sell their current home after moving out so they could do some needed repairs because Mr. Jasper said, I want to get the highest price. Now, Miss Jasper was like, I want to be next to my grandkids. So we had a situation going on there.
Familiar with that one, yes.
Some of our listeners can relate. But when I asked them, the Jasper said they were still working and could afford a higher note on the new place if they put a small amount down and they didn't use the equity from their house. But they wanted to retire in a couple of years. They didn't want to be stuck with a high note. And since they almost had their old home paid off, they looked into getting an equity line of credit to try to use that money for a down payment. But the bank said, we're only going to loan you 80% of the value. They're like, well, that's leaving 20% of the value that we can't get to, plus it's going to cost us to get the loan. We don't want to do that. Well, the right turn for the Jaspers was to go ahead and put the small amount down on the new home with the higher note. They would move out of the old home and get all their repairs done after they've moved out, And once they sold the house, and they said, we're going to sell the house in 3 months. It'll be gone in 3 months. We'll have the repairs done in a month. And we're going to net about $200,000 net profit. We want to pay all of this down on this mortgage. Well, I set the new loan up on the house they bought with where they could have the option to recast it. Okay, not refinance it, because refinance was going to cost them a whole bunch of other closing costs. I'm talking about a special option that we build into it when we lock it in, that will allow them to take the $200,000 net profit after they've bought the new house, they've sold the old house, and make a prepayment to principal.
That's an amazing tool.
And then the mortgage company recast the mortgage payment to the lower note, reflecting that lower balance. So their payment would go to, say, they were paying $3,000 a month because they only paid 5% down on the new house, and now they've recast it. Now their note is less than $1,000 a month. Perfect.
Not many people know about that tool.
They don't, but I've been using it a lot with my clients. Real estate investors are coming back into the market, Pat, Alan. They're coming back into the market like gangbusters.
They are.
Especially with the new DSCR programs for investors. It's low documentation. It's very flexible. It's not a government-backed loan, but they'll allow these investors to buy Airbnbs and multiple properties and get a positive cash flow. That's what they're built for. If you're an investor, connect with me. Hey, you may be refinancing. And here are some of the strategies right turns people are taking in 2026 for refinancing. To get a cash-out refinance, combining high interest rate credit cards into the one single-digit fixed-rate mortgage, then prepaying that mortgage with the several $100s they're saving per month. Number 2, cash-out refinance to buy additional property, and cash-out refinance to modify their home to fit the way they want to live, and cash-out for other reasons. But hey, I'm ready to help you. I'm Joe Garner. I'm in the mortgage business. Please connect with me today at jogarner.com. I'm ready to help you. We have in the studio Alan McCool of Stephenson Associates. He's an appraiser, a really good one. How do we contact you?
901-763-2100.
Also in the studio, we have Pat Goldstein. She is a realtor with Crye-Leike in Tennessee, Mississippi. How do we contact you, Pat?
901-606-2000.
Thank you for hanging out with us today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. You can also catch our podcast and more at jogarner.com. Stay tuned. We have more to come on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. See you back in just a moment.
This is Santa Claus from the North Pole. You're listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Now back to your host, Joe Garner.
Okay.
I can't believe Santa is listening to your show. That's amazing.
We rate right up there all the way to the North Pole, Pat.
No doubt about it.
All right, it's time for Insights and Inspiration. This one is called Observation Initiation, the Quickest Road to Success. This young lady spent her youth watching her uncle, a chemist, create skin creams in their kitchen. She dreamed of building her own beauty empire, selling skincare products in established department stores. But she didn't have any money. But she had time. She spent that time sitting around in New York hair salons watching women. These women who were sitting under their hair dryers were a captive audience. She brought her uncle's skin creams and they let her apply it to their faces while they were waiting for their hair to dry. This turned out to be a direct route to success, bypassing completely the expensive retail supply chain system. Next, this young lady targeted luxury department stores, but she didn't have a budget for a big marketing campaign. She took a different road. She announced that every customer buying her skin cream would get a free gift with their purchase, and so she tossed in some free lipstick. Her customers were pleased. They bought more and more and spread the word. Before long, this lady, Estee Lauder, and her invention of the free gift with purchase idea became a standard marketing strategy around the country. Do you have something in life you really want to do, but you seem to be hitting a dead end? Stop, observe, and take a different route. Taking a different road just might get you where you want to go quicker, and it might be a more scenic route. So that's our insights and inspiration today. Today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, we're talking about real estate market in 2026. Make the right turns on your road with home ownership. I'm Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. I want to be your mortgage officer. Connect with me at jogarner.com. Alan McCool, appraiser with Stephenson Associates. How do we contact you?
901-763-2100.
And Pat Goldstein, she's a realtor with Crye-Leike.
901-606-2000.
It's time for our real estate tip of the week. Alan, you got one for us?
I think I do. It kind of fits in with what I've been saying. Know yourself, know your priorities, and get them ranked in order, but also know your payment abilities. Go get pre-qualified with a mortgage lender. We've got one right here.
Woo, yes.
So it's so important because when you find something that really fits for you, you want to be able to jump on it. You don't want to go back and say, oops, that's too much, or that's not working for me financially.
Love it. Pat Goldstein, you've got a tip for us too from the realtor desk.
I do, and I've mentioned this before, but it's really important that you make a list. You need to know what you want, as important as what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a list of what you want, what you don't want, you're going to be able to tell your realtor and your lender what's important to you so that you can move forward easily instead of floundering.
Love it. How do we contact you, Pat?
Oh, I'm at 901-606-2000, and I operate in Tennessee and Mississippi.
Well, I have a tip. I'm going to go back to something, Alan, that you and I were talking about, strategies. Right now we're in a market where we're seeing more and more homes come up on sale, and some of them are staying on the market a little bit longer. So you have, as a buyer, more opportunities, not every time, but more opportunities to negotiate sellers to help you with closing costs. I've seen people make the mistake of taking it on they're trying to make try to get a lower price on the house. That's only going to help you if you're going to sell the house in like 2 or 3 years, lowering the price. What really gives you your money back faster is if you can negotiate instead to have them pay closing costs for you. Maybe you offer them their list price, but have them pay closing costs because you're going to realize that money, the time value of money, immediately. That's my tip.
That's a great tip. And that may, as you well know better than I do, that may get you a lower rate if part of that
is a buy down
on
the rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we want to say thank you to our sponsors. One of our major sponsors is Talk Shop, and they offer free education and networking every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Central, at the Independent Planning Group's conference room 110 at Clark Tower. Now, this room is going to change soon, so always check talkshop.com under events for where it's going to meet. Talk, SHOPPE.com. And we want to thank Ben Hunter. He's an outstanding financial professional at Independent Planning Group for being Talk Shop's location sponsor. Talk Shop on Wednesday, June 17th, 2026, 9 a.m. is Your Voice, Your Healthcare Choices. Tanya Wales, she is an executive administrator of Baptist Trinity Hospice. This is a health talk powered by resourceforcare.com. Sponsored by Mid-South Home Helpers for your loved ones needing non-medical assistance to stay happy and safe. Home Helpers is owned by Tim Fleschner and Janelle Holloway. Thank you. And you can reach them at 901-414-9696. And this is sponsored, of course, by Talk Shop, Talk, SHOPPE.com. Thank you for Christine Wood of Opus Senior Living for your support of the health community through your Talk Shop sponsorship. For memory care when a loved one needs it, contact Christine Wood, 901-587-7100. Join me as your mortgage expert and realtor Silvana Piadotti of eXp Realty for the home buying Zoominar Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central. And you can get the latest strategies for buying a home in this market. And go to talkshop.com, click the events tab, and you'll see the area that where you can sign in for this online Zoominar. Make your plan. Let's work your plan. If the deal works for you today, let's do it today. Subscribe for weekly Real Estate Mortgage Shop podcasts with show notes at jogarner.com. Our quote from the Quote Corner. This comes from Inspirational Picture Quotes. It is better to look ahead and prepare than to look back and regret. But Alan and Pat, this is another one I really like. It's from Anonymous. It says, you can learn more about a person in an hour of travel than in a year of conversation.
That's very true.
That is very true.
Well, have you guys got anything else you want to offer?
It's been wonderful to be here.
I always enjoy being here. There's so much good information offered to anybody who wants to listen.
Well, Pat, you are part of that. You offer a lot of great information from your vast experience in real estate. Alan, the same thing. You know how the appraisal system works, and you know the right things to how to advise people.
I hope so. I've been trying a long time.
Well, me too. Me too. And it's fun. It's fun to be on the journey, isn't it? With people.
Certainly is. Yeah.
And I love selling a home. When I discover that Alan is the appraiser, he does such a great job.
Thank you.
Oh,
Pat.
you're so nice. Thank you, Pat.
Well,
you're welcome.
Thank you to our listeners for listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Catch our podcast and more at jogarner.com. I'm Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. Connect with me at jogarner.com. Alan McCool.
901-763-2100.
And Pat Goldstein, our realtor.
901-606-2000.
We'll see you guys back next week.